Let's take another question. In a workshop, 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 the times taken by some trainees to identify a fault in a workshop, in a workshop, in a workshop. Yes.
We've done this before.
Is that what?
And we've done those questions on.
No, we've not done. It's the same in a workshop, but this one is different. In a workshop, the times taken by some trainees to identify a fault, in a machine are shown in the table below. If the mean of the distribution is 6.275, it's the same thing. 6.25. Find the value of y. This one, there's a different change. Find the value of y. So if the mean of the distribution is 6.275, in this case, you have been given the mean. Find the value of y. Find the value of y. So number of minutes. The number of minutes is the same thing except that the number 4. Oh, but the answer is already there. You let me stop. So the answer is already there. It's the same question. You just go and watch it and come and tell me the answer, and I say it's 10. Why is 10? So I understand. Let me give you another one. The table gives the heights measured to the nearest meter of 300 trees. The table gives the heights measured to the nearest meter of 300 trees. The table gives the heights measured to the nearest meter of 300 trees. So do the tabulation. The first one is height measured in meters. Another one is number of trees. The first one is height. The other one is number of trees. So when I mention it, then I mention the number of trees. When I mention the height, I mention the number of trees. So we have 2, 14. The height is 2. Number of trees are 14. 2, 14. Then we have 21. 21. So we have 2, 14, 21, 4, 42. 583. 583. 6118. 712. 87. 9 free. So we have 214, 321, 442, 583, 6118, 712, 87, 9 free. Now these are the questions under it. A. Calculate the mean of the distribution correct to the nearest meter. Calculate the mean of the distribution correct to the nearest meter. B. If a tree is selected at random, find the probability that it is at least 8 meters tall. If the tree is selected at random, find the probability that it is at least 8 cm tall.
Please say the last question again.
If a tree is selected at random, find the probability that it is at least 6 meters tall. If a tree is selected at random, find the probability that at least it is 6 meters tall.
To prevent the whole thing understand, then you know electronic syllable skills. Because I don't have to know it for actually said I only talk before. What's meaning adjusting them? The things that they buy or all my balance you don't also be there if you're gonna have a farm. What's meaning that now over the same example. And so you say you push it.
What are you getting?
The next season somewhere at the beginning of the next season, the coming one, 2021, 22. The video not say actually let to be not before. You never talk for. Now, the faith here is a view no. I said, stand up authority. They will say, why has to skill? Yeah, I'm funny. I don't know why has to skill? Yeah, when you go and check it. Oko no duro bi a wa adjust no ye de bɛhwɛ oko duro ma wotɔ watɔ na de sika yagye na yɛ ama kɛfoɔ no yɛde kaseɛ bɔ ne akɔpie no ɛwɔ adanse na adanse man progressive association ɛmɛbuku a wɔnyɛ adanse no ɔma yɛ nsɛnkyerɛfoɔ nhyɛ adidie na wɔn nam so ade adesɛdeɛ ato no n'afa so ne anim sɛ na dɛmka wɔn tutu na dɔm ɛkɛsie na kadɛn a wɔn na dase na wɔ adanse akɔkɔm na nam afa akɔnya na ma ani adekum a ɔkɔto ne no ɔmo nkatakyɛ ɛsan sɛ waka mo mmara kɛse wɔkɔre a ɛnsase a wɔn ɔkyɛ bɔkuru nipa ɔfo nkuta de wɔkɔ mmara ɛyɛ a ɛha wɔ hɔ paa. This project is pushing my one of what you have done. You must say, now I'm going to make a solution or contact me and I can't want to.
What are you getting? Tina, are you done?
Yes.
Are you done?
Yes. Yes. So I had 5.163.
Okay, 5.16. Good, good. What about the probability?
So you said 6 meters, right?
Yeah, 6 meters. At least 6 meters. Tall.
Okay. So I had 59 over 150.
59 about
150.
Nope. You have to find for the probability that at least.
Say,
Yes.
At least.
Probability that
Say mean I got
Yeah, talk to me. I'm listening.
5.16. The mean.
Is that the adult 5 points?
16.
5.16, the mean. Okay, okay,
Yes.
yeah, correct. I think Faustina also had same.
And
What about the probability?
7/15.
Oh, good. And what so the final answer will be 0.47 or something in decimals. Tina, what was the problem finding the this in the probability?
Yes.
What was the problem you encountered?
So I not find any problem. They said at least.
Okay,
So greater than or equal to.
okay. So explain so that those of us who didn't get it can get it. So how did you calculate it?
So they said the probability. So the expression probability is the probability of the event over the total occurring event. That's
Okay, so I want Faustina. Faustina, have you gotten it now?
No, please.
Okay, so the question is saying that what is the probability? What is the question, Krampo? Says that what's the probability that if a tree is selected at random, find a probability that it is at least 6 meters tall. That means we are going to find a probability that a tree that will be selected is at least 5 cm tall. So what we are going to do is that means we have to find for the numbers with height at least 6 meters. That means numbers that has that number of trees with their height which is more than 6 cm or equal to 6 cm. So now we come and look at the table, then realize that the six itself, the number of trees is 118. Have you seen on this thing? So we are going to consider
Yes,
the
sir.
height. So the height that will form part of the probability to be height 6, 7, 8, and 9, because these are the heights which is at least 6 centimeters. When we say at least, that means it's either it is 6 or it is more than 6. So the numbers, we are going to find the numbers which is either 6 or more than 6. Are we getting it?
Yes, sir.
So you bear with me that the height 6, we have only 1118 trees. So that will be the first one I'm going to consider, 118 trees. Then when the height is 7, we have 12 people or 12 trees. When the height is 8, we have 7 trees. When the height is 9, we have 3 trees. So then what we are going to do is we are going to add the 118 plus 12 plus 7 plus 3. When we add, what are we getting? Add it from 118 to 3.
140.
140. Now, after finding for 140, you want to find for the probability. So in the probability, I don't know if you've done probability yet. You divide it by the whole number of the trees. So you come and add from 40 to 3, which is 300, right?
Yes.
So the probability that a tree selected is at least 6 meters is equal to 140 all over 300, which will give you 7/15 and 0.47. I hope you've gotten it.
Yes, sir.
Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else?
So please, I had the same answer.
That is Simmons. Okay, great, great, great. Okay, so now let's do. Let's consider the second method. I hope you can get me. My network is in. So let's use. So let's do second method. Now, in the second method, we are going to consider something called assumed mean. Assumed mean method. So here we are going to, when we talk of assume when we talk about assume, that means you assume that the mean is this. And normally the question will give you that certain number of so and so and so and so. Take assumed mean to be this. Now the assumed mean is always denoted by A. Denoted by A. Now if we have assume or guess that the mean is say A. So if you guess that maybe the mean is say A. The difference between the assumed mean A and the class midpoint or the mid value in each of the class X is D. So the difference between the midpoint or the class mark and what do you call it? The assumed mean that they've given you or you've been given the question, we table that or we name that D. Now from there, the D is what you call deviation. That's the difference between the class value or the midpoint and the assumed mean is what you call the deviation. Now, when we have these two things, there's a formula we are going to use to calculate in finding our mean. Now, our mean will be calculated like this. Our mean will be calculated like this. So our mean will be equal to the assumed mean, which the question will give us. Normally, if the question doesn't give, you can either pick the middle number of what do you call it? The middle number of the class midpoint, any of the middle numbers of the class midpoint. So if you have two middle numbers, you can pick any of them. You should be able to still get the same answer. So this is equal to, but most often they've been giving you the assumed mean plus sigma FD. So this one, the formula is FD all over sigma F. Normally we use this a lot when we are talking about grouped frequencies, grouped frequency distribution. This method is normally used when we are talking about grouped. And when we talk of grouped, the other day I explain what grouped is. When we talk about maybe the following table shows blah 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 blah, then they give you the X values, maybe 40 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69, 70 to 79. You remember I taught you the other time last week, and I taught you how you are able to find for the class boundaries and so on and so forth. And as a result, I taught you how to find for the class midpoint. So when you're given the grouped frequency like this, that's how you're going to do it. So let's take some examples and do so. So when we have something like this, so when we are given something like this, so let's put in our values. So let's say the following table shows the distribution of weekly wages earned by some construction workers in Ghana. The following table shows the distribution of weekly wages earned by some construction workers in Ghana. So then they give us in group form. So let's say this is the wages in Ghana distance. So let me write wages in Ghana cities. Then maybe they give us 40 to 49. 40 to 49. Then they come and give us 50 to 59. 50 to 59. And they are giving 60 to 69. 60 to 69. Then we are giving 70 to 79. 70 to 79. Let's just use this to do it. Now when finished, then they give us the number of workers. So they give us the number of workers. So that means those who are earning 40 to 49 Ghana cedis, they are 4. So yeah, you guys mean that here will be our frequency, but number of workers. But in our mind, we know that it's frequency. So 4. Then they give you this one. The number of workers taking this, they are 12. Also giving us this to be 18. And we are being given this to be 11. And when we have this, we are going to do this. So we've been given assumed mean. Now, according to the question, our assumed mean is 74.5. The question states that using an assumed mean of 74.5, 0.5. Calculate to the nearest person is the mean. So the assumed mean we are given A is equal to 74.5. And please just take note that this, I'm just using this as an example because the assumed mean is for quite a huge number. Apart from the 75, is from this side to about 1110 to 119. But I just want to explain it so that you get it. So when you're giving something like this, let's say this is the assumed mean. Now when we have the assumed mean, what then we are going to do is we are going to find for the class midpoint. So here we are going to find for class midpoint. So class midpoint. So we can write MD. Now the midpoint, we are going to add the 2 and we divide by 2. So the midpoint of 40 to 49, what are you getting? You're going to get 44.5. So I'm going to find for the midpoint of this 0.5. That will come and be our new x. That will come and be our x. And that's what we are going to use in our calculations. So 44.5. This, what will be the this? And this will be 54.5. 0.5. We are going to get 64.5. You can also get 74. So you can also get this. Now, so this becomes the midpoint of this. And this is basically what we are going to use in our calculations. Already, we know there's a frequency. So we first have to find for the sigma for summation of our frequency. What are you getting for the summation of our frequency? What are you getting? What are you getting? You said
60.
60. Yeah. Oh, this is not up to 60. 4, 12, 18, 11.
45.
45. So we have this. We have our midpoint. Then from there we are going to find for our deviation, which is d or small d. And you bear it that the deviation is the difference in the class size or the class mark, which here is the midpoint, and that of what you call it, the assumed mean. So the deviation is x minus assumed mean. So the deviation becomes x minus a, where x in this case, our x is going to be our what do you call it, our midpoint. Then our a is the assumed mean we are given. So that means 44.5 minus 74.50. What are you getting? We are going to get maybe a certain negative 30. We are going to get negative 20. We are going to get what? Negative 10. We are going to get, I think, 0. And I told you that normally the midpoint is the middle number. So you realize that 74.5 is the same as this. So it's either the numbers here we are given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8. So you know 8 will have two middle numbers, but you can choose any of them, any of the two. I would always prefer to choose the first one. So you can choose this. When you are given this, so let's just use this. Then from there I come to find for FD. So here will be FD. So FD. So the FD will be that I'm going to multiply this and this. So because this becomes my D and this becomes my F. So 4 times negative 30 will give us what? Negative 120. This one will give us minus 240. This will give you minus 180. The next one will give me 0. Then when I finish, I come and find for the sigma or the summation of FD. Now, what will be the summation of this? When I add this, what am I going to get?
So add negative 5 volts. Oh.
So negative 5 volts.
40.
So negative 540. So after getting the negative 540, then I come and factor it into my, what do you call it? My work. And I know I'm supposed to get a positive number. I'm supposed to get a positive answer. So what I'm going to do is this will be equal to my mean, which is 74.4.50 plus.
Sir, please, the mean is assumed.
Is it? Yes. This is
The
assumed.
mean is assumed.
You said.
Sir, please, the mean is supposed to be assumed, but I are taking it as the mean.
So we are doing the calculation. So we are now finding for the actual mean with the help of the assumed mean given in the question.
Mm.
And this is the formula.
But sir, it as the mean itself.
That is not the mean itself. You get it? We have assumed mean. That is why there's even a difference. That is why there's even a difference. If it is the main mean, there's not supposed to be a difference. So realize that I'm going to get the real mean when you're after the calculation. So the answer you get becomes your real mean.
Okay, sir.
You get it? So that's why I said assumed mean. So when you are given an assumed mean, and this normally we use it in the calculation of grouped data like this. So this will become 7.74.5 plus
minus
540. Is it 40 here? All over. This one is 45.
45.
All over 45. So you realize that this one there will be, you are not going to get to the answer maybe in a book because I shortened the list. Are you getting it? Because this
Yes.
one affects it. And I know if I'm just using this one, then maybe I may assume that I may use an assumed, what do you call it? An assumed mean of maybe 54.5 because this one becomes the center of it. I can use any of this 54.5 or I can use 64.5. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
So that is it. So after getting the answer, then we are good to go. Your answer. So now your answer in a book, if you have to use the same thing, all the values you are given, you are supposed to get your mean per to be 70 cities. 70 cities. So you realize that there was just a difference of 4.5. There's a difference of 4.5. So the difference of 4.5 is your deviation. Are you getting it? Or your difference. So the 7.45 is your assumed mean, and your main mean is 70. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Exactly. So that is basically how we are going to do this. So that is it. So when we are given questions like this is how we solve it. So this will be equal to assumed mean plus sigma fd all over sigma f. And I've shown you how we can be able to get the d. The d is the difference between the midpoint and the assumed mean you are given in the question. And I told that normally when you're not given the assumed mean in the question, you can pick any of the middle numbers of the x, which is the md. Are we there? Middle numbers. I didn't say first number, many of the middle numbers. Here, the middle numbers are this and this. So I would want to choose this one. So that is it. That is it. Now let's talk about mode. We have about 8 minutes to end the class. Let's quickly talk about mode. Now, when we talk of mode, the mode of a set of numbers or values. Now when we talk of mode, we are talking about the highest number of occurrence. That you already know, or the highest number of occurrence. So, for instance, when you are given 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5, which one is the mode? Which one is the mode? Is what?
3.
3.
That's 3.
It's 3. So that is it. That is basically it. So the mode is the highest number of occurrence. And normally when we have the mode of an ungrouped distance, so the mode is 3. So because it has the numbers, the highest number of frequency. So that becomes your mode. So always the one with your highest number of frequencies is your mode. So if you are given an ungrouped frequency distribution table, for instance, maybe number of children 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then they give the number of families 3, 9, 11, 2, 12, 1. Your distance. So let me just write it so that you get it. So when I have something like this, so let's say here is 0, I have 1, I have 2, I have 3, I have 4, 5. Then in the table here, there's 0, I have 3, I have 9, I have 11, I have 4, 2, and I have 1 here. Then they ask you, what is the highest number of what is the mode of the data? What is the mode of the data? What will be the answer?
2.
2. So always, it's not when you have this like this, you are not talking about this thing. This one will just tell you that this one has the highest number. So it's always the class number. That's what you are going to write. You are not going to write the frequency. Are you getting it?
Okay.
Are you getting it?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Uh-huh.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is it. Now for a group
Yes.
frequency distribution, the model class is the class with the largest frequency. So if you have a group 1 to maybe from 40 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69, 80 to 89, and they are given a number of employees, for the highest class will be the one with the highest number of frequency. Are you getting it? It's just basically like this one. So if assuming yours to be 2 to maybe 5, your highest class will be 2 to 5, because this one is a group data. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
So I think we have some few minutes. We have some few minutes. Next we are starting with the second part of this, but we will treat. We have.
Second.
I'm coming. We will treat the mean first next week. Then we will continue with the second part of statistics. Then we are done. Then we do another topic. Yeah. Please, any question? Talk to me. In the evening, I'll put, God willing, I'll put question on the platform so that you can all solve. Talk to me. Anyone, if anyone wants to talk to me, kindly talk to me.
Sir, median.
I said I'll treat that next week. We have just limited time. I don't want to start and won't be able
Sir,
to.
please, the median.
I said I will treat that next week. I don't want to start and we have limited time. I don't want to start and we won't be able to finish. That's the
Sir.
last. Yes. I can't hear you. Talk to me. Who is talking? Please talk to me. So God
Sir,
willing.
please, did you say we'll be asked to find the assumed mean?
I didn't say that. You'll be asked to find for the mean, given the assumed mean. So when the question gives you the assumed mean, then they ask you to find for the mean, then use the formula. The formula is mean is equal to assumed mean plus sigma f d all over sigma f. You know how to find for the d. I've taught you. You know how to find for the sigma f. So you should be able to do it. I getting it. And I told that in instances where they don't give you the assumed mean, you take the middle number of what do you call it,
Midpoint.
the midpoint. That is it. That's what I told you. I just left the median. We don't have time. That's why I don't want to start with it so that I won't
Yes.
finish. That is the only part. Then so next week, just trust me, I'm going to start with cumulative frequency and so on and so forth. I think that one can take us also additional 2 weeks. Then we are done with statistics. Then if we have more time, we do some other topics. So we are do end of the month. So Charlie, God bless you guys so much. Yesterday some guys showed a lot of care. God bless you so much. I really appreciate it. I was supposed to go to McGee's today, but I couldn't go. Maybe next week or something. So, and I also didn't want to miss the class because yesterday I couldn't do a lot of time with you. So we talk. God bless you so much. But be expecting your questions this evening, and I expect everyone to do it.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
Bye.